Well, welcome to Inside Santa Cruz. I'm Joyce Anderson, and our show today is going to be about Santa Cruz Shakespeare. So welcome, and my two amazingly talented guests are Charles Pasternak, he's the artistic director for Shakespeare, and also Dr. Lorne Dechtenberg. So, and you are the managing director of Santa Cruz Shakespeare. Well, welcome both of you.
Thank you for having us.
Well, I'm excited, and also I wanted to say a few words about each of you, and just so but I'm going to I have make some notes, so I'm just going to read them. It's so proud to have people of your talent here in Santa Cruz, both of you. So, and I know you're going to do great things. So, Charles, first of all, I want to say that you have been the director of Porters of Hell's Gate Theater Company in Los Angeles, which you ran for 16 years.
Yep.
What an experience. So Charles has had a wide-ranging national career as an actor, director, teacher, and including 4 seasons of Santa Cruz Shakespeare.
Shakespeare Santa Cruz at the time,
Yeah.
2008, and then 3 seasons from 2011 to 2013.
Have you been there? Oh, and the amazing background you've had for 16 years in Los Angeles.
Yeah.
Oh, I'd love to hear all those stories. All right, Lorne, I just want to welcome you also. Lorne, you are the artistic director of Bluegrass Opera and Music Theater in Lexington, Kentucky for 15 seasons.
That's right.
That is, congratulations.
Thank you.
That's longevity. Lorne is a classical trained performer, composer, and music director with thousands of performances under your belt and a passion for the business of performing arts.
That's right.
What an amazing background. So I was wondering where the doctor came from. So then the music, I can see that.
The Doctor of Music, yeah.
Doctor of Music, I know. I'm just so excited that you are here. I want to ask each of you, explaining your job, certainly what the artistic director does, and then a little bit about, the company and things that you're bringing on. We'll start with maybe telling our audience what you're here for and what you're going to be doing.
Yeah.
And then, Lorne, I'll come over
Sure.
to you. So we'll start with you, Charles, since you've been here longer last year than
A few months, sure. The job of artistic director.
Yeah.
I pick the shows, I gather the company, I gather the directors and the designers. I try to aim for a seasonal theme. I want all the plays to speak to each other so that our audience, when they come and see the repertory, they see actors they love in multiple parts, and they can hopefully hear how the plays are in conversation with each other. And the core of our season here is 2 Shakespeare plays, but we also do 1 non-Shakespeare play. This year it's The Importance of Being Earnest. And so it's in conversation with those Shakespeares. We're also adding a 4th show in the Glass Menagerie. So 2 Shakespeares, 2 non-Shakespeares. So I select those with an eye toward, an ear towards how they speak to each other and how our audience can engage with them, and how this community will engage with them in new and exciting ways. And so my job sort of covers the scope of gathering artistic personnel to deliver some of the best theater in the country. And then I have incredible people like Lorne to help me make that possible.
That's amazing. I mean, that you have to work, and you're working with so many different actors and backgrounds, and then you have to bring all of them together. So that's quite an accomplishment.
I would say that is the most complicated part of the job, is bringing so many diverse departments together to tell the same stories, so that it's not. These are all beautifully talented people, but nobody's working in a vacuum. Theater is maybe the most collaborative art form, certainly performing arts,
Right.
Or it's up there, and they all have to be telling the same story. So that's one of the more complicated parts of the job, but it's also one of the most fulfilling.
I can imagine.
Yeah.
I can imagine things. So, Lorne, you're the managing director. Tell
That's
me
right.
what's your job, what you're doing there.
So the managing director, aside from carbon copying Charles and everything that I email out, my job is to make sure that the company is first, internally healthy. That can be financially healthy. I oversee our development department, our marketing department, so all of our fundraising and advertising activities. I also have to oversee the physical spaces that we perform in. So our venue up at the Grove in De La Vega Park, I'm going to make sure that that's ready to go for our season. I also deal with things like contracts and budgets and some of that formal nitty-gritty, paperwork that has to get done behind the scenes to make sure things run smoothly. The other thing that I do that I'm excited about getting to be a part of this community now, I did it a lot in previous communities, is to build partnerships outside of the company. So for example, we're a certified green business here in Santa Cruz.
Oh, right.
And we're going to have one night this season, we're going to invite all of the certified green businesses to come up to the Grove, have a little party before the performance. They're going to say, I think it's a performance of Ernest, if I'm not mistaken.
I believe so, yeah.
Great idea.
And then stay for the show and enjoy the show. And Charles will give them a shout out from the stage. And so we get to really celebrate that group in the community. And other groups are doing that too throughout the season. But it's a way to just reach out to folks and say, hey, we care about you. We're grateful you care about us. And we're all in this together.
That's amazing. What a great idea. Because our community is so about the green, and so many businesses are. That's a great touch for sure. That's for sure. And we have a great community that is going to support you here. We know that for sure. So what are some of the things besides, reaching out to the community? And that's one thing. I know we were talking about how do you get places for everybody to stay. And I think you mentioned there's about 100 actors coming in for this program?
Not 100 actors, but our company over the summer, we bring in over 100 employees.
Yeah.
And we have to house close to half of them, which, as you can imagine, in a market like Santa Cruz is crazy.
Yeah.
But we do it. We do it both on the goodwill of our donors and supporters. Some people offer us housing for free. Some people give us below market rates. But we bring in over 100 people every summer, of which there's a large chunk of actors, but not 100 actors.
Yeah, not 100, but there was a little associated.
Yeah, it's one of our great tasks. Finding housing in this market is one of our great tasks every year.
So you're managing all these people. How long do they stay here when you come? They do one play?
They stay here for the entirety of the summer season.
Oh, they do?
Which this year, if they're in all 4 shows, will extend from June, they're about to come into town in the next week and a fraction, all the way through September when our season will end.
Right.
Some are only in our main 3 shows, our repertory season in the summer, and so they'll leave us at the end of August before our final production, The Glass Menagerie. But either way, that's quite an amount of time to put somebody up, and as Charles said, it's not cheap, and we're very grateful for not only our company manager, Artie Perales, who does an amazing job of organizing all the housing and rental vehicles and all that kind of thing, but the folks who have donated the space and given us the great deals to enable us to put these people up, because we could not do this work without that generosity.
No, and we can't bring world-class theater to Santa Cruz without being able to bring in world-class artists and artisans. And while Santa Cruz has some beautiful artisans, the scope of our season demands people from across the country, New York, Los Angeles, the Bay Area. And so these efforts in housing make it possible for us to give this community art of the highest order.
Right. Well, I want to do a shout out to our viewers that watch our show, and this will go on YouTube also, to say, who do they contact? Do they contact you?
They can contact company manager at santacruzshakespeare.org.
Company manager. So that would be contact Lorne. And also, people want to know, they can say, well, I have a guest house, or I have, I have somebody, because a lot of people do take foreign exchange students and things of that sort, from different countries. So it's a great way to get to know the community. And also, it brings people. It just makes it more, community friendly.
And I should say that there are a range of possible time spans for which somebody might stay in the community with us. For example, a designer who designs the set or the costumes for one of our shows might only be here for a small amount of time near our tech rehearsals. But an actor might stay for the entire season.
Oh, sure.
So depending on what space is available, we're grateful for whatever help we can get, and we'll work with them to make sure we use that goodwill.
Yeah, and that's really, you should even, I know you had advertised in the Coastline of the Sentinel, and people watch that and look at that. Can you do a shout out on the Sentinel about looking for places for people to stay?
We could.
Volunteers or something like that?
I mean, we could. I mean, we do a wide-ranging search, and we have, by the skin of our teeth, succeeded this year.
Yeah.
And every year it's a mountain, but so far we've been able to manage it. So
Awesome. Knock on wood.
Knock on wood, please. Yeah. Yeah.
No, because it is a huge part of bringing the productions,
Yeah.
and people are going to be excited that you're doing. You're not only doing a couple of Shakespeare, plays, but you're also doing a couple other programs you had talked about.
Yeah.
Which people can go to theater, and I know people in Santa Cruz. It's a big art community, so people, stores, books, and we're also talking about this little folder that you have here, and it's great. You can have everything in here about the programs, where to buy tickets.
Mm-hmm.
We also mentioned that we don't talk too much about, but you can go to. We'll put up your website, so people can go there and find out when the programs are, how much the tickets are. So that's. I like that you brought this.
Yeah, I'll just briefly say that performances start in mid-July and run all the way through to the end of September. SantaCruzShakespeare.org is where you can get tickets for any of these shows.
Yeah.
And as I said, they run in rep. And the Shakespeare we do is fabulous. And I would encourage people to come check it out. If Shakespeare's not your thing, we do 2 non-Shakespeares. They're beautiful plays. And I'll also offer that coming to the Grove is an event.
Right.
We have a beautiful picnic area overlooking Monterey Bay. You can come 2 hours early and sit there and enjoy yourselves. When you come into the theater, you're allowed to bring in wine. You're allowed to bring in drinks. If you get groundling tickets at the front, you can spread out. It's a community and a cultural event in which you can sit with your neighbors and enjoy some beautiful theater. And the Shakespeare we do is excellent. And for those hesitant about it, I'd encourage you to give us a chance.
Yeah.
But we also have offerings that are not Shakespeare. And our summer comedy, The Importance of Being Earnest, is one of the greatest comedies ever written. It'll be a wonderful evening. And one of the greatest American, family plays ever written, Glass Menagerie, will be running in September, which is a beautiful time.
Yeah.
So come be a part of the event and fall in love with it and then come back.
I'm so excited about that. And also, people can bring their own wine and a little
Absolutely.
picnic basket.
Absolutely.
How fabulous is
Yeah.
that? I so look forward to going to, I know a lot of friends that they go to Ashland and different places that they have it, but we definitely need that here.
We have it.
And to be outdoors. And the Grove is beautiful. They have a beautiful golf course. De La Viega has a golf course and a park there, but it's just driving in the park. So it makes you feel like you're out in the forest.
You are, and as someone who's new to California in the
Yeah.
last few months here, I have to
Yeah.
second what Charles said. When I first set foot up on that picnic bluff at the park,
Yeah.
that view is second to none. You see
Isn't
the
that-
entirety of Monterey Bay out
I
in front of you.
know.
It's
I
just
know.
gorgeous.
You can see the whole area.
And if you're not sure if you're interested in these particular shows, we have these wonderful free events coming up where you can preview a little bit of what's going to be going on. We have an
Yeah.
event at the public library hosted
Oh,
by
I-
Sean
okay.
Kylan from the university.
Yep.
Oh, that's
We
good.
have an
Yeah.
event at Santa Cruz Bookshop downtown, which I know Charles will be at with our other directors.
Yep.
Good.
Talk about the shows.
Yep.
So,
Okay.
come down and there's no charge to just come and listen
Yeah.
and meet the people and see if it's something that you might want to come and see. And that Oscar Wilde comedy, Importance of Being Earnest, is hilarious.
Is it really?
If you like to laugh, I mean,
Yeah.
even if you don't think Shakespeare's your cup, which as you like it, as funny as can be as well.
Yeah.
But Oscar Wilde is just hilarious.
Just
So,
in
yeah.
everything. And it also opens that door for people if they haven't seen it. They can go to a theater and have the experience. And being outdoors,
Definitely.
like you said, the scenery up there is beautiful. I know a lot of people play golf up there too, but the view, you're going to just really enjoy it. And
Yeah.
it's fun to it's like going on a picnic, but you also get to see a play and laugh or, whatever your plays are. It's going to be amazing. I'm excited for it. I'm excited for both of you. I imagine the people coming in. So they're coming in shortly too. Are they
Yeah.
starting already?
Next week, our stage management team comes in for what we call prep week, which
Right.
is when they're the unheralded heroes of any theater endeavor. They run everything, they prep everything. When all the actors and artists walk into the room and the tables are set up and the floor is taped out, somebody did that, and that's the stage manager. So they have a week to do that. The next week, all the actors come in, and then all the artisans working outside and on props and costumes come in, and they all get started. So it's a huge swell on June 11th, and then previews start in mid-July. So about 5 weeks, almost to the day, the first opportunity to sort of see a show pops up.
And that's so amazing. I'm excited already about it, and I'm sure all the people here will talk about it. And you'll be advertising in the paper,
Of course.
lines every time there's something and free. Who's going to turn away something free? Come and meet you for free.
And those previews,
Yeah.
I want to put a plug in for the previews
Yeah.
because, again, that's something that, not being from this community, I'm not used to seeing previews that you can attend on a pay-what-you-will basis. So you
Is
can
that right?
pay as little as $5 if you want
Yeah.
for a seat, and you can see the magic of this show coming to life for the first time.
That's awesome.
It's an amazing experience because you on the stage, right?
You're gonna be-
are experiencing this for the first time too. It's brand new.
Yeah.
You haven't had the chance to do it 20 times yet.
Yeah, yeah.
And then you have that experience in the audience of seeing that magic, that electricity of it being a new production. There's something unique about that. It's not like seeing a show that's been going on Broadway for weeks and weeks or months
Right,
and months, and
right.
it's all,
you know what it's going to be like.
Yeah.
But you're adding so much more to this a theater adventure, plays and outdoors and groves and picnics and wine and what else? And you are going to be in Hamlet.
Yes, I'm playing Hamlet.
Oh, you are? Okay.
I'm also in As You Like It as Oliver, and I'll be directing The Glass Menagerie. So
Fabulous.
I'll be busy. We're both going to be very, very
both be
busy.
busy. Yes.
Yeah.
I'm not in any of the shows, but I'll be signing all the paychecks.
Well, they'll be saying,
and
"What do we
giving-
do?"
Yeah.
Yeah,
You're
I've got plenty to do.
You're
so.
managing all this. That's the job.
Yeah.
And then managing, anybody. Hopefully, everybody. There's always drama a little bit, isn't there?
Well, hopefully we'll keep it all on the stage.
Yes. Well said.
But
Well said.
I am excited to just see how it all comes together
I
and to
know.
do what I can to help it be great.
Because it's all new for the actors and people coming in there haven't been in, and we're coming to Santa Cruz. It's new to you because
right.
you've been in Kentucky,
Yeah.
in Bluegrass, and you've been Los Angeles. But
Mainly.
there's a lot going. Yeah.
A lot across the country. But
A lot across the
yeah.
country work, and that's amazing. So the plays and the people you're getting all taken care of. So tell me a little more about your job and your positions. I mean, you're talking about what you're doing, but how is your life when you've traveled? 16 seasons and all the work you've done in different timelines. That you're moving around a lot. So, family. Where were you born?
I was born in New York.
Oh, you were.
I was born in New York. I was raised in Los Angeles, and they're the two major cities I've hung my hat. But
Yeah.
but much of my career has been traveling across the country.
Yeah.
I love the vagabond life. I love living out of a suitcase. I love doing that.
Yeah.
Putting down roots here has been a beautiful thing, but it's new for me. I mean,
Yeah.
I haven't been in one place for longer than half a year since my early 20s.
That's
So
fascinating. That's
and I'm sure Lorne can speak to this.
Yeah.
I know in the music community there's even more hopping
yeah.
about to some extent.
Yeah, I mean, it's part of the gig economy. So
Yeah.
we're
Yeah.
used to going where the work is. And, as a director type, I remember being told when I was in school, be prepared. This is a lonely life you're going to
Yeah,
lead because
yeah.
you're not going to be part of the club. Now, Charles gets to be part of the company
Right,
acting
right.
as well. But generally speaking, directors are not part of the
Yeah.
family of actors. They're the ones that are giving them the orders. So you're the one that kind of has to be able to just stand there and cheer everybody on, but do it from the sidelines. You're not quite part of that group. But it's a very rewarding endeavor, and you know, I think I speak for both of us when I say we live for the art that we create, and it's so fulfilling. To be able to see the reactions on our audience members' faces, the experience that our performers walk away having had, because it helps them to grow as performers and as human beings. You know, this is a wonderfully collaborative art form, and if we do our jobs right, then everybody that's a part of that collaboration, from the art makers to the art experiencers to the community at large, will be better for it at the end.
Well, what about the music portion that you were talking about? And you've had, what, thousands of performances or things? Tell me, what was that all about? Because what happens there?
My classical training as a musician has been as a singer, as an opera singer, a musical theater singer, and also as a conductor, orchestra conductor and pianist, piano conductor type person. So I've been on a lot of stages, and I've directed a lot of shows and sung in a lot of shows, and it's given me a wonderful perspective to be able to bring both to new works and to classic works. I think it was the Juilliard String Quartet who always said, treat every new work like a masterwork, and every masterwork like a new work. And that's the edge that I bring to Shakespeare, because Shakespeare has been around for hundreds of years, but yet we're always finding new meaning in it. And it is, you know, limitlessly applicable to the world in which we live today. It's one of the few bodies of work that doesn't have specific requirements for the ethnicity of its actors, the race of its actors. It lends itself to equity and equality and fairness in casting. I think most of our intern company this year is actors of color. Isn't that right, Charles?
Absolutely. I mean, we're probably one of the most diverse companies in the country. I mean, half of our company are women, and half of our company are non-white or from diverse backgrounds. And so you'll see wonderful diversity on our stage. I hope everybody in our audience will see themselves up there somewhere. But all of it is in service to honoring Shakespeare and telling the best stories we can today. And the stories that people will want to tell through Shakespeare in 10 years will be different, and they were different 10 years ago. And we just try to stay open and honest with ourselves, and fight for excellence, fight for greatness in the work, fight to raise the bar, to make this community proud to have one of the greatest classical theaters in the country, while opening our arms to as much of a community of both artists and audience as possible. And that's not easy, but that's the grand ambition.
No, I can see you have the passion for it. I can see that. And you mentioned the singing. Was there a favorite song that you sang on a Broadway? Oh, there's so many.
I want to know the answer to this. This is great.
I mean, if you could just say, when you're home and you go, you might be humming and you love that song. Well, everybody has a favorite.
So I'm an odd duck in that regard. I'm a child of the 80s. So I grew up listening to a lot of 80s rock. So I can probably rattle off more Bon Jovi and Elton John and Billy Joel. I grew up playing in a lot of piano bars.
There you go.
I've done a lot of Billy Joel and that kind of thing. But then I went into my classical training and I began singing a lot more opera and musical theater, operetta, everything from like the Gilbert and Sullivan shows that you think about, like the Pirates of Penzance, to shows that are more classical, like the role of Figaro in the Barber of Seville, right? You've all heard of Figaro, right? So everything, I view music as this beautiful, multifaceted gem, as theater is. Right? All the different styles are parts of that language that we as the artist have to learn to speak. And if we are conversant in all those facets, then I think that we become kind of the human equivalent of what Wagner used to call the Gesamtkunstwerk, the total art work. So we are in effect the total artist. If we can be conversant in all of those different facets, that's when we really become an asset to our field and to each other as collaborators. And so, I've been lucky that in my education, I've been able to, sniff every lot on the block, do a little bit of this, a little bit of that. And I've worked as a stage manager. I've worked as a lighting designer. I've done a little bit of this, a little bit of that, enough that now I can appreciate what they have to do. I can give good instructions. I can be sympathetic to their needs. And I feel like, now I can be a better collaborator for those people because they know that I understand what the shoes they're walking in.
Okay, so when you first sat down at the piano and you like Bon Jovi, what would you hum or sing to yourself? I want to know that. I mean, there has to be something you must have had.
Oh gosh.
But just a line, you know.
When I started making music, it was kind of by accident. I was 10 years old at the time.
Okay.
I did not study from a young age. My parents couldn't afford to get me lessons.
Yeah.
But I was at a hotel with them one weekend. And the song that I had heard recently was Leaving on a Jet Plane, Peter, Paul, and Mary.
Right.
Right? And so, I guess it was written by John Denver, but they made it famous.
Yeah.
And so I sat down at a piano in the lobby of that hotel, and I just kind of started tinkering around.
Yeah.
And my parents were like, maybe he has some talent. Let's test the theory.
Yeah.
So we went to a dinner place that night that had a pianist from the local junior college playing dinner music. And he said, if you go up there and do what he was doing when he takes his break, then we'll take you to see, it was The Mask, was the movie that year, Jim Carrey. We'll take you to see The Mask. I was like, all right. So I went up there and I just did a little bit behind. It was an upright. Nobody could see me. I was small for my age. I did a little bit of playing what he was doing. I felt it out and I tried to do it. And then he came back from his break. He said to my parents, he said, you've got a problem. You know that, right?
Yeah.
So they had to figure out what to do about this person who had some musical talent. And so they let me just start experimenting and see what I could teach myself. So, but what I found was that what I liked more than making music myself was making music and making art with others, the collaboration of it. And that's what led me to get involved in musical theater and opera and ultimately Shakespeare here with Charles and the whole company. So.
Right. I love the 10-year-old. Come on. I always knew you wanted to be a cabaret singer, right?
Welcome beyond the new.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I love that. And your background, who influenced you?
I mean, I had there was a Shakespeare teacher that came into a classroom when I was in 5th grade, and it was just like a 2-day visit class or something, and I just fell in love with it. I was lucky to live in a place with a resident classical theater, and my parents put me in the classes there when I was about 8 or 9 years old, whatever it was, and here we are.
I can't thank both of you enough. You're just absolutely so delightful, and we're almost out of time, but I want to thank our crew, and I want to say that I encourage everybody. Santa Cruz Shakespeare, and we've got plays, we've got actors, we've got singers, we've got talented people all over Santa Cruz now, so welcome both of you.
Thank you very much.
And I look forward to seeing you in your work. No. So until next time, have a great summer. You know, we're going to be taking June and July off, and we'll be back with finding all about Shakespeare Santa Cruz from you two in August. So thank you very much.